There's no arguing that people love their cars.
We weren't arguing.
They talk about their cars, sing about their cars. Some people even look like their car. Whether it's an old car, new old car, fast car, family car, electric car, race car, two-wheel car, no-wheel car, or a car you know's parked around here somewhere. People who love their cars love to tinker with them. Some people tinker big, some people tinker small. Some people tinker some degree between those two variables.
Whose voice is that?
And that's where Supercheap Auto comes in. We've been helping people tinker for 50 years. For people like Bill, Lucy, Kevin, other Kevin.
Oi, get off my car!
Didn't catch this guy's name.
It's Kevin.
Not Patrick. He doesn't shop with us. Whoever you are, whatever you drive, we'll help you make it super. Because Super is our middle name. Well, technically it's our first.
Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to Supercheap Auto East Coast V8 Series. This is round 8 of season 8, coming to you live from the one and only Winton Motorsport Complex in northeast Victoria, just near Benalla. I'm John Van Ree. With me, I have Mark Duggan. How are you, Mark?
Yeah, very good, John. Nice to be back at this little track in Winton. Yeah, it's a track that I enjoy driving, but don't enjoy racing. It requires too much concentration while doing.
Yeah, she's definitely a circuit where you don't get a break. So it'll be very interesting to see how the boys tackle this one. Big shout out to Steve Murray in the chat as well, saying g'day. Let's have a quick look at the circuit. Of course, it's not that one, so I can quickly turn that off. It is, of course, starts at pit lane, which is in the new pit complex, heads up into the East Lake, Paul Morris and Tony Longhurst. And we head down the hill into Coates Corner through turn 4, through the big sweeping turn 5. All fourth gear, got to balance the throttle. Then we come out into rollover corner at turn 6, into Penrite corner in turn 7, and then we go around the Gumtree in 8, coming out at truck assist corner, all the way down the old back straightaway into turn 10, where we head back into the new complex of the Winton Motorsports track and head down the Hyundai corner through 11, through turn 12, known to some as Gunter corner, where Dave Worrell decided to hit the wall in the production car race there back in April, and then we head back down the straightaway and pit lane. So it's a very short track. Doesn't take these guys very long to get around, Mark. Looking forward to seeing what these lads can do. Just going to have a quick look at the championship standings, starting with the Pro Boys. And on pole leading that series at the moment is James Scott. These points does include drop rounds. And also we got to see a little bit of a point penalty to James Scott. Apparently he passed somebody before the control line at Bathurst. And everyone's saying you're a bit quiet, Mark, so I might just see if I can turn you up a little bit. And then, of course, Hobbo P2, James Scott not with us tonight, so big opportunity for Hobbo to close the gap there. Anthony Visma on 990, and then Craig Schultz in 4th in that very tight contest to get onto the podium, followed by John Stone, Briggs, Kirby. And if we go over the page, have a look at the Super 2 boys. Dylan Gray is leading that series quite comfortably from Robbie Bradbury. Will Munro just hanging onto that 3rd spot from Tim Mulford. Blair Van Ree in 5th. And Troy Stone Street with a couple of outings already starting to contribute onto the leaderboard there. So some great work there from Troy. Has Hobbo in trouble.
interesting to see who can keep their nose clean and challenge for that victory.
Yeah, definitely a difficult victory to challenge for without that. I've just done a bit of desktop audio. Can you guys hear Mark now? Not sure what's happened to my Discord link. Just keep talking, Mark.
Yeah, as I was saying, John, it's the race winners up for grabs tonight. So we've got a new driver with us, Bo Albert, which is a big welcome to Bo. We've got Thomas Freeman back after a bit of a hiatus from us. We've got Cameron Jones as well, who's back with us tonight. All very quick and accomplished drivers. And then we've also got Brenton Hobson, Hayden Harrison setting some good times, and of course Damien Johnson, who is a fierce competitor and a great racer. So plenty of names there to challenge for the win, I think.
Yeah, looking forward to seeing how Bo goes. It's really going to keep Hobbo honest, I think. Hobbo having an off track there in that first outing. Of course, Bo Albert is quite well known in sim racing, also well known, a lot of double audio now. Yeah, I thought that might be the case. That might solve that one. Yeah, so definitely quite well known for doing a lot of product review as well. So this is how Bo goes. Anthony Visma, of course, from Accelerate Motorsports. He's another one who's had a cracking season, doing really well for us. Looking forward to seeing what he can do. As we sort of work our way down the list, we've got Zach McDonald, who's been one of the big improvers we've seen week in, week out around this place. So don't rule out young Zach as he comes through, as he's in the pits at the moment. And of course, Riley Belson had a run of bad luck early on in the series and now starting to get on top of it. So looking forward to seeing what he can do as well.
I've just seen James Scott enter the server. That'll be a disappointment to the other drivers, I'm sure. But in any case, it's great to have James here. He has been an absolute phenomenon in this series, as he is in most series he drives in, and he's been pretty much untouchable all season. So, yeah, James is a late entry, but he's here with us. So expect to see him up near the front immediately.
Following on from last week, where we had the double up of drivers with the two races with the reverse grid, so he's probably quite happy to start record grid, I think, after last week. Mind you, he did say this place has very little opportunity for overtake, so I know he'd be looking to get out there and get on with it. As we might just have a quick look at our Super 2 leader, Dylan Gray, running a different livery tonight. A little bit different, the old green frog. We'll see how he gets on. And he's into the pits. Who else is on track? Bo Albert. He's the man leading the charge at the moment. And of course we have and yeah. So just moving on a little bit, we've still got Bo Albert leading it. I'm just looking, we've also got Russell Gander in here. We didn't mention Russell Gander. Russell, new to the series, races regularly in the Apex series under the Apex banner. He's just crossed the line there. He's in 18th. So keep an eye out for him. And Andrew just letting us know that Dylan's actually racing in his real life livery tonight. So did hear he was doing a bit of AU racing. He was racing in AU. So yeah, that's livery. So a few things happening as Anthony Visma wants to start his lap. Looks like a few of the boys from the Apex Racing League jumping in the chat as well, so g'day to all those fellas. We're just making it on Monday night. So let's see what the Viz can do. Let's jump on the nose.
Did I hear you say James got out a penalty from Bathurst last week, John?
Yeah, apparently he overtook somebody on before the control line on the last safety car. They ended up losing 5 points. Apparently there was a redress involved as well, so they ended up using Yeah, a couple of points from the stewards. But still won every race so far, so not quite a clean sheet, but still definitely leading our championship quite well. There's Anthony Visma here, heading up to turn 11 and 12 complex. Car looking quite well balanced. Gets it around turn 12 safely and crosses the stripe. Where does Visma go with this one? Don't think he's improved. It's an 18.727. Leaves him 300ths behind John Stone.
A very good effort from Anthony. He's been improving every week. He's always had pretty good outright speed. Just needs to refine his racing a little bit, but he's he's improving week in, week out. He's a great guy and always fun to have a yarn to in the vets community.
Does a bit of race control as well. Might jump on. Thomas Freeman has come back to join us as well. Tom's had a little bit of a hiatus since the end of the Pro Series. But he's one fast fish, this fella, as he ducks into the pits. Just I'll give him a ride up. Robbie Bradbury, one of the Pacific Esports drivers. So Rodbury sitting in 14th at the moment, just in front of Craig Schultz. So that's not too bad of an effort, considering we're already nearly 9.5 minutes into this session.
Yeah, Robbie's another one who is new to us this season, and he's had a stellar season. I think he's always raced hard. He's a clean racer, puts a lot of effort in, and I think he's one of the most improved out there, and he's doing a great job for his team.
Yeah, he's doing very well. Yes. Yeah, we'll see what he can keep doing. James Scott, he's on track. He's on a fast one here. He's already set one purple sector. Running into second purple sector at the moment. He's about to take the Ryco across the line. And James Scott only jumps into fifth. Okay, Shay takes a lap or two to tile it in. I don't know, with 4.5 minutes to go, he's going to have enough time to get it dialed in. So it's going to be interesting one to see how James goes tonight. At the moment, it is Bo Albert who is leading our board, with Zach McDonald, Brenton Hobson, Cam Jones sitting behind. So definitely a little bit of a challenge ahead of us here. Not sure what Bo's doing there. Getting a little bit loose. That looks like Will Munro behind him as he heads into the pits. So Munro just got way out of control, got it back into the pit lane as well. So who we got on track at the moment is James Scott's on another one. If I can just find where James has jumped.
He's coming towards the end of the lap now. We'll see if he peels into pit lane, and he does. He will try for one more. His outlap's going to have to be pretty tidy to manage to get another lap in.
It's a very tricky little pit entry here at Winton as well. As Bart's back out on track. So a few of these lads now starting to get some outlaps in. I'll just jump on with Zach McDonald, see where he's at.
Yeah, great lap so far from Zach. He's sitting in P2, and yeah, that's an outstanding effort.
Doing very well, is young Zach.
Just under 3 minutes to go, so I'd say if they're starting a hot lap, this will be the last one for everyone. And if you want to start one, you better get around there pretty swiftly.
Of course, Dave Baldock reminding us all that Bo Albert is also an ex-PRA driver, just like Dave Baldock.
They've been revealed as a super coach by the sounds of it.
Oh, apparently best motorsport driver to come out of South Australia.
Brought a lot of young drivers along too. Some very talented drivers.
Yes. Yeah, so he works on the motto, do as I say, not as I do.
A big shout out to Dave, great guy, and I hope you're well, Dave, and all the best to the family for the upcoming Christmas season.
Yes, definitely. And of course, while we're on that, big shout outs to the Dave. Big shout out to Dave Kirby as well. He's watching us tonight with the old T-nuts, bolting everything still together, finishing off his new rig build. Looking forward to when the covers come off that. Seeing Dave back out on track. As continuing on now, we've got Damien Johnstone sitting P2. And of course, we've also got Dave Coleman in the chat as well. So if everyone called Dave, put your hand up. Makes it very easy to remember everybody. Joshy Morella's in the chat as well. Joshy went for a spin in the Cavalier Homes Super 2 entry today. So I believe you had an absolute ripper of a time at getting a few laps up at Winton this morning, Joshy. So hope you really enjoyed it, mate. As clock is nearly wound down on this. So as we just wait for these last few laps to come in, Zach McDonald on an outlap. He's got about 40 seconds. So it's McDonald and Hobson. Need to get across the stripe. Dave Q saying Will Buchanan's running his old rig. Stefan Piccoli. Excited about the Pelicans. Many Pelicans in this part of the world, opposite the Winton wetlands. Lake Mulwala. Yes, on a lappy. Let's see what he can do. Don't rule out James Scott as he just goes bang as well.
He got a big sideways action coming out of the last corner, but he was still able to manage to grab P1. He probably dropped a tenth and a half there coming out of the final turn. But yeah, James Scott delivers again.
Yeah, he is extraordinary. That boy can do as we come around the tree. It's like he's peeled out of the way of a fish running through. Freeman's on a hot one by the looks. Shout out to Mick Clifton as well in the chat. Joshy loving his ride. That Chanda Motorsport entry. See what Thomas can do here. Appears to be not going any quicker. So some of these boys have found this qualifying session quite difficult. As he comes across the stripe and improves in the last sector. Is it enough to jump him up the order? Just dribbles in front of Dylan Gray. Dylan Gray's not far behind. He's failed out to the pits though. And who else we got on track? Brenton Hobson. I think he's got his time set.
Brenton jumped up to P3.
That's a good effort. This Blanchard looks like he is running towards the back of it. Let's see what Chris Blanchard can do here. Failed off as well. So it looks like our qualifying might be running one. On this track here. Bit of fun here as Freeman heads back to the pits. Let's have a look as we jump to the grid and we will go through this field. So we have James Scott in P1 along the 118.235. Alongside him is Bo Albert. And on the next row of the grid, second row, we have Brenton Hobson alongside his Synergy Sim Racing teammate Damien Johnstone. In fifth, we've got 95 Sim Sports Zach McDonald alongside his teammate Hayden Harrison. On the fourth row, Cameron Jones from 95 Sim Sports alongside the first of our Super 2 drivers, Anthony Visma from Accelerate Sim Racing. And on fifth row, Riley Bilson lines up alongside Synergy Sim Racing's Brady Baldwin. Troy Stone Street from Simtech Racing is sitting in 11th. And Thomas Freeman from Fishy Motorsports is in 12th as we go over the page. And we pick up Dylan Gray, a second of our Super 2 boys in SLM Motorsport alongside Phoenix Racing's Timmy Mulford. 15th, we see Robbie Bradbury from Pacific Esports alongside Craig Schultz. In 17th, we have Will Buchanan alongside Will Munro from Sim Riggs Infinity Motorsports. And then in 19th, in his first outing at East Coast, we have John O'Gallen in 19th Pacific Esports. He's alongside Chris Blanchard, WK&P Sim Sports. Russell Gander from Apex Esports League is in 21st, and he lines up alongside Connor Nixon from Vermilion Motorsports. Reg James is our race steward. Richie Barella is our safety car driver, and that is our grid.
Yeah, interesting top half of the grid there. Surprised to see Thomas Freeman qualifying 12th, and Connor Nixon very late entry and didn't manage to set a time. So Connor will be starting from the back. Got plenty of laps to get through the field, so it'll be interesting to see how Connor goes.
Yeah, looking forward to see how Connor goes. Bo Albert sitting on that front row. Don't rule out him having a great race. Bobo, he's the man sitting second in the championship. He needs to get himself past the likes of Albert and stay in front of Johnson and McDonald. McDonald in 5th, that to me is really good. Sure, Sean McNamara will be wrapped having his young protege sitting on 3rd row alongside teammate Hayden Harrison. Cam Jones in there. I think it's going to be a very interesting field as these boys aren't too far away now, probably about 10-15 seconds away from taking the starters details, and we'll get absolutely up and racing as we've got 67 laps, 2 compulsory pit stops, and they're only allowed to change tyres once as the boys start to accelerate up here. Expect the lights to go on any second now for them. And we are gridding. Here we go. 1 red, 2 red, 3 red, 4 red, 5 red. Lights out. Went out quick. We're away. Someone stalled. Big accident on the back there. Not sure who that was, but there's guys everywhere. Try and grab that.
I think it was Damien Johnson, John, who stalled it on the grid.
Come back and look at that action in a minute. We'll just keep going here. The incident's been noted by race control. James Scott's got away. Bo Albert in second. And it's keeping a bit of an ear out there.
Bad re-entry.
If we get safety car or not as well. But there you go. Continuing on here. As we come round the
All
sweep
good, mate. All you need to do is call.
in the rollover corner for the first time. These boys. Nicely leading out, a little bit wide there from Bo. He's tucked on the back of James Scott. Hobson in 3rd. He's dropped about a car length already. Zach McDonald is still sitting in 4th. Big winner from the start's Connor Nixon up 13 spots. So Connor's done quite well. And the big loser, of course, Anthony Visma down 11, Bilson down 12. So I'd like to see this first lap out. And then we'll jump back and try and have a look from the chopper. What happened to Damien Johnstone, we believe.
I'm pretty sure, John, the lights went green. Everybody went except for one car, and that was Damien Johnson. And I'm not sure who clipped him first. Could have been Cameron Jones, but Cameron managed to get around him with not too much damage. But I just saw in the background cars flying into the fence, going in all sorts of directions. So shame for some of our competitors there, but the start lines are always critical and dangerous.
Just going to jump to the replay to the start now. Just bear with me for a minute. So, and Riley Wilson's name pop up as well. So we'll start with Riley. Chopper cam here. Got held a fair bit. Riley got a good start, then the stalled car there, nowhere to go for Riley. So yeah, fair bit of carnage. Spread everybody everywhere. You can see Damien Johnstone stalled in front. As we jump back to live pictures with Hobson. It's under a fair bit of pressure from Zach McDonald. Tough gig for that one.
Yeah, never any fun when your race starts like that.
And word in from Gander, he's had computer troubles. That would be heartbreaking for the millions of fans from Apex Racing that are watching Russell Gander tonight in his debut here at East Coast. James Scott, purple sector lap that one, 118.8, so he's starting to get into his rhythm quite well, 118.9 for Bo Albert. Not much of a draft track this one, so you won't see them drop off too much if they fall a second behind. Stephen Murray saying Will Munro got hit by a rejoining car. Just going to go down the back, Craig Schultz. A good little battle here. John Gallen up into 15th, up 5 spots. He'd be pretty happy with that. And Schultz here missing a bonnet. And the guys in the chat saying Will Munro got clipped by a rejoining car. So I might see if we can find that on my list. Don't think I can somehow. Just jump back to the start and have a look at Will Munro if I can find him. Start with this one. Will Munro nicely got slowly through. Yeah, someone coming back on. Bang, looks like Timmy Mulford clipping well. Definitely going to keep the stewards very, very busy.
Yeah, luckily for Will, he was able to keep driving pretty much straight ahead, but I'm guessing Timmy Mulford may have an issue there with his rejoin, so but we'll leave that for the stewards, not for us to decide them situations. But yeah, luckily for Will, I'm not sure if his car's damaged, but he's been able to keep going fairly cleanly.
A bit of paint off the side. And the other side looking good. Apparently he's running the 2024 livery for the team. His first outing tonight. And they're continuing on nicely. Will sitting in 13th, up 5 spots still. Connor Nixon's been the hard charger. He's tucked up behind Dylan Gray. Connor is up 13 spots at the moment. He's a big winner out of that start kerfuffle.
Yeah, the sea parted there for Connor. He's been able to jump quite a few places, so good luck to Connor. But pretty hotly contested battle here for 4th and 5th between the 9.5 Simsport boys, Zach McDonald and Cameron Jones. Cameron all over the back of Zach in 4th spot. So yeah, these boys are not showing like their teammates at the moment. They're racing fairly hard, but it is clean. So yeah, going to be interesting to see how Zach goes with this relentless pressure. A little bit of a lock up there.
Can't miss your apex around this place.
Just lifts a little bit and lets Cam through. So Cam's going to head off up the road, trying to catch up to Brenton Hobson, who's in 3rd spot.
Running by himself at the moment.
Of course, the race strategy is going to be critical tonight, John. Only one set of tyres in the 2 compulsory stops, so they're really going to have to nurse these things for fair distance here.
Yeah, this track is tough on tyres. Very abrasive surface. And a lot of time turning. Too much time spent going straight. Turbo looking very much under control here. This comes down into Coates. You get a good exit here and sets yourself up for a fair bit of pace. Good entry to Sweeper. Going to get that direction change right. Just go in the rollover, pull it up, hit the apex into Penrite. Coming around the tree. It's going to be balanced. Don't want to over-excite the accelerator. Haven't got much time here before you get into the next truck assist corner. Through that, and then away we go. Incident with John O'Gall and Tom Freeman's been noted as well, so I'm not sure what's happened there. But we'll have a quick look at that. That was on lap 5 by the looks. Let's get to the end of this lap. Hobbo, see Bo Albert just up the road. Turn 11. Carefully set yourself up, turn 12. Definitely more to the left there if you're Dave Worrell, and then continue on. Sean McNamara saying the tips helped for young Zach. Young Zach sitting in 5th. Let's go have a quick look what happened to Freeman. We did see the note they were looking at this. This was Freeman and Gallen, so I'm not sure what's happened. Bit of a lock up by one. It's Freeman, probably not 100% certain, probably working hard on the overtake of Blanchard. Bought out, I'd probably say is the issue there. Leave that one for race control to sort out though. Lap 7 of 67.
Cam Jones is, sorry John, Cam Jones is just slowly reeling in Brenton Hobson in 3rd place here, so Cam's got some good race pace by the look of it.
Definitely hunting him down. So Hobbo's probably doing a little bit of the old fuel save trick as well at the moment. Getting a bit loose coming out of 12. That doesn't help the race pace. So 9.5 delivery, looking quite striking as well. So let's have a quick look at Troy Stone Street. He's lost some spots, he's down in 7/8. Troy's only been with us for 3 or 4 races, but quite well known for going from split 3 to split 1 in vets last season and performing quite well. A couple of top 10 finishes by the end of the season, so he's hunting down Tim Melford at this stage. So of course Troy's the first of our stoppers. He stopped on lap 1 after the accident. Keep an eye on how he works his way back. Just going back up to Zach McDonald. Quite good. Cam Jones has caught up to the back of Hobson. Donald's still under pressure from Baldwin behind. And Connor Nixon, Hayden Harris, boys.
Yeah, great to have Hayden back with us as well. Been a while since he raced with us, but good to see him out there and doing a great job in P7. Another good young racer in the 9.5 Sim Sports stable, and yeah, it'd be good to see Hayden back with us regularly if he can find the time on a Tuesday night.
It's another one, Sean McNamara's young charges coming through. So I'm just going to jump on with Hobbo now. He's starting to feel the pressure from Cam Jones behind. So this is a track where you can make up time quite quickly, particularly the tyres starting to go off. These straightaways are not really long enough to wind out these cars. The sort of speeds that these boys have been racing at the last 2 weeks with Lord's Life and Bathurst. So we go from 2 big tracks, the Super Track, Australia's largest track, to one of our smallest. And next week, of course, off to Phillip Island to finish off the Australian leg of the series. It's another famous motorsport complex in Australia, well known. All for stuff on 2 wheels.
Yeah, always produces some great racing in the sim, but yeah, it's a good fun track, Phillip Island, and another track that really eats your tyres. So it'll be interesting to see what they do with tyres for that track.
So Dylan Gray here. Heard earlier, running his in real life livery. Having a cracking job. Keeping the pressure on Damien Johnston. Damien down 5 spots and damage, as we can see. So he's probably trying to manage the car till he gets to that first stop.
Yeah, Damien's car looking very, very used at the moment, but still doing a good job to be in 9th spot after such a horrid start to the race and sustaining major damage. I'm surprised he didn't get a meatball from all that, but he's been able to keep going and yeah, doing a pretty sterling job considering the start he had to be in 9th spot.
Yeah, doing really well. Tyre management, definitely the key. Only got 2 sets of tyres and 2 compulsory pit stops. So one of these pit stops, you won't be able to put another set of tyres on. So boys, got to manage that well. See what they can do here as we jump down. Might just move back up with Brady Baldwin again. Still feeling that pressure from Harrison behind.
Like we said earlier, John, it's such a difficult track to just maintain 100% focus the whole time because you really don't get any relief. You've got a couple of short bursts on some small straights, but they're only a matter of seconds, so you really don't get much rest mentally around here.
Yeah, I always found it was a place where you gotta make sure you've got all your other buttons set up to do your fuel and things like that quickly and easily, as you wind up being in a situation where you don't have time to press buttons and get things sorted. Which then can lead, of course, when you're doing those sorts of things, can lead to accidents. Timmy Melford, I think, may have had an incident that led to an entry to pits. We'll have a quick look at that. See what's going on the Supercheap Auto replay. This place is known for throwing up pit entry is an accident, and that's what it's done here, I think. So if I flick a few of those up tonight, apologies. It's Timmy looking very, very beat up there as well. 2 down the working side, both stops. Not sure how the unchanged tyres would go through for 67 laps.
He could end up with a bit of canvas showing there.
Yeah. Recommend it. Brady Baldwin now sneaking in. Jump on with Hobbo. Hobbo's still got Cam Jones tucked up behind him. Just a big shout out to Steve Varga as well. Watching us.
Yeah, g'day Vargs, get in here and race next Tuesday night, mate.
Let's turn my mic up a touch. I think that comes through a bit better, Steve. So the race starting to settle down now, 13 laps in. James Scott, it's only 4 seconds up the road. He hasn't done his big dash and bash like he's been known to. Bo Albert, his first outing here at East Coast in a long time. He's got himself nicely tucked up in second. He's got himself set about 4 seconds up the road from the one and only Brenton Hobson, who is looking over his shoulder at Cam Jones. And Cam, of course, a little bit of lap traffic with Timmy Mulford, who's come back out after fixing his car up. And we then continue on. Zach McDonald's dropped off. He's about 2 seconds back now, 2.5 seconds. Hayden Harrison is something weird's going on here. Oh, you're kidding me. Can you still hear me, Mark?
I can hear you, John. Yep.
iRacing has decided to not run, and I'll just keep talking for a minute while we'll try and get this sorted. Just bear with me. This time I've had this one play up. Just going to go to a 60-second ad and we'll come back.
There's no arguing that people love their cars.
We weren't arguing.
They talk about their cars, sing about their cars. Some people even look like their car. Whether it's an old car, new old car, fast car, family car, electric car, race car, two-wheel car, no-wheel car, or a car you know's parked around here somewhere. People who
iRacing
love
shut
their
down.
cars love to tinker with them. Some people tinker big, some people tinker small, some people tinker some degree between those two variables.
Whose voice is that?
And that's where Supercheap Auto comes in. We've been helping people tinker for 50 years.
Still hasn't
For people
acknowledged
like
I'm
Bill,
out.
Lucy, Kevin, other Kevin.
Oi, get off my car!
Didn't catch this guy's name.
It's Kevin.
Not Patrick. He doesn't shop with us. Whoever you are, whatever you drive, we'll help you make it super. Because super is our middle name. Well, technically it's our first.
So once the ad's done, if I keep talking, they'll be able to hear me.
Yep, that's done.
All right, we've got a couple of technical issues on John's side, but the race is still going. We've got James Scott out in front on lap 15 currently. He's got about 4.7 seconds over Bo Albert in second, Brenton Hobson in third, Cam Jones in fourth, Zach McDonald fifth, Hayden Harrison sixth, Connor Nixon seventh, Dylan Gray doing a great job in eighth, as is Robbie Bradbury in ninth, and Will Buchanan in 10th. The leader has forced his way forward and opened up a bit of a gap. Bo did valiantly to hang on for quite a bit, but we all know how relentless James Scott's pace is, and he's been able to break the shackles there, and he's nearly out to 5 seconds now. So I think what we're going to see is the pit strategy with only one set of tyres on offer be critical to how this race unfolds. So I'm expecting most people will probably try and get to around lap 40 before they change tyres, and from there on in they'll have about 27 laps to go. So that's my prediction. I don't know, I don't have any inside information. All I know is that's probably where I would run my strategy.
No worries, we are back with live pictures. James Scott still in the lead. Just got to double check with Mark that we're on lap 16.
Yep, currently on lap 16, John.
Awesome.
And good to have the pictures back.
Not sure, a little bit hot here tonight, so it could be a bit of that, but could be also a glitch as well. So anyway, we'll see if it happens again. So apologies for that one. Don't have them too often, luckily. And James Scott, yep, leading out. Cam Jones, he is still tucked up behind Hobson. And it is still a very, very good battle going on here between these two.
Connor Nixon, late starter on the grid, done a great job so far. Started very back, he's up 15 spots. He's in P7 and he's starting to harass Hayden Harrison in 6 spots. So Connor's come in tonight after not being with us for a while, and he's really seems fired up, and he's executing a great race so far.
Yeah, Connor is nicely tucked into this battle here. Keeping Hayden Harrison very honest.
I haven't seen that livery before either on Connor's car. Looks quite nice as well. So good to see an updated livery on the Vermeulen Motorsport car, and it looks very, very good.
Yeah, they'd be pretty happy with that, I reckon, those boys. Looking very, very sharp. nicely tucked up now behind Hayden Harrison. This battle really starting to liven up really, really well as Hobbo heads into the pits. So Connor having a good hard look at the back of Hayden Harrison's 9.5 Sim Sports entry.
Being such a tight little track, it's very easy to miss a brake marker when you're in such a heated battle like Connor is here, and it's very easy to run off track once you snatch one of them brakes if you do lock it up. So yeah, requires, as we said earlier, 100% concentration 100% of the time around here, and yeah, Connor doing a great job. Car looks very balanced, haven't seen any tyre smoke anywhere, no lockups thus far, but hopefully that's not a commentator's curse.
Yeah, don't want to be involved in any of those. There's Hobson, who's made his first pit stop on lap 17. He's tucked up behind Will Buchanan. So, very early stop for Hobbo. Could be part of his tyre strategy. Get that first one out of the way early. So he can change tyres in that second one as he's tucked up behind the Big Bear entry.
Now we know Hobbo, very experienced campaigner, usually gets his strategy spot on. So I'm sure he's put a little bit of thought into it, and I'm sure he'll want to clear Will Buchanan as quickly as he can, because once you make them stops, you really don't want to be caught up behind slower cars, because it really compromises your second pit stop, which is where the strategy really will unfold, because the second stop, I'm sure, is where they'll all take tyres.
Yeah, definitely need to be on the game there. Going to jump on with Blanchard. Blanchard, he is in a real battle. He's got past, he has the hard charging Tom Freeman behind him. Tom, of course, has probably done his stop. And I'd say he's done that fairly early and fixed up some damage as well. And then Blanchard fighting with Will Munro in front of him. Blanchard's got about 0.4 of a second there.
Yeah, Will's doing a great job there, just outside the top 10 in P11. He's got Chris Blanchard in the Supercheap entry on the back of him, and Blanchard's coming under all sorts of pressure now from Thomas Freeman.
Freeman definitely making that rather difficult. The old game of I'm faster than you, but I'm lapped.
Yeah,
never easy,
yeah,
that one.
Yeah, exactly. I was just looking at the laps. Yeah, Thomas Freeman is currently on lap 19, and the rest of the field's on lap 20.
Of course, Will Buchanan. He's got Munro starting to tuck up behind him, so these boys starting to form a good little battle pack here.
Hayden Harrison's pitted as well, so Hayden dropped back to 12th after his pit stop, which has allowed Connor Nixon to regress another spot up the field, so he's up 17 spots now into P5, so somebody else has pitted in front of Connor as well. So Connor doing an outstanding job thus far. He's the biggest mover by a fair margin.
Yeah, definitely a long way to go still. Blanchard's into the pit lane as well now, so starting to see a few of these guys peel off, get that first stop out of the way. And just looking now with Blanchard in the pits, still got this battle here really with Baldwin And of course, Hayden Harrison in front of him. So Brady trying very hard to hang on here. Fighting to continue. This track is, as I said before, not the world's easiest track to race around. These guys doing it tough as Bo Albert's the first of our leaders to peel off into the pits. As jumping on now, having a good hard look with Brady Baldwin here. Bit of a lock up from Harrison in front. See that onboard view, how much you got to balance that car around. It's all second, third gear stuff. Very, very hard work. On the accelerator now, fourth gear. As soon as you get it into fourth, you're already back into second gear again. Getting it around turn 10. On the gas, need a good exit here. Get the speed up. Into fifth if you're lucky. And then tap it back down. Into second. Get it around the corner. Get it right out. Use all the exit curb. On the inside curb. Use the exit curb again. Don't hit the wall. It's about the only time now is where you're going to get it in the sixth gear. Gets it in the sixth, and then bang, straight away. Back down again to third. Roll it through the first part of the S's. Good exit on the second part. Use all the curb on the exit there. Does well. Uses the extra track. Gets it back into second as we now head down into Coates Corner. Into third. Roll it through. Use all the inside curb. Get the power on the outside curb. Into fourth. Now balance the throttle. Let it cruise. Just a little bit of a juice. Still staying fourth. Now pull it all the way back to second. Get that nose in. You want to hit the apex there. Don't hit the apex, it's time wasted. And same thing again around the tree. Hit the apex. There's a very short on the juice. Stop real quick. Roll it around the next apex. As you can see, really, really busy around this place. As we come down the National Straightaway, fourth, back to third already. This place is hard work just even talking a lap, let alone physically changing the gears, putting your foot on the accelerator and putting your foot on the brake. These guys are working really hard around here, Mark.
Yeah, absolutely, John. It's there's absolutely no rest, and yeah, I feel for you there, working so hard, calling that lap. It's the middle part of the circuit is absolutely diabolical for concentration. You do not have to make much of a mistake to end up in all sorts of trouble there.
Yeah, definitely a bit of hard work going on. Will Buchanan, he hasn't stopped yet. He's up 9 spots. They're doing the Big Bear Racing, and as we found out a bit earlier, he is the Rello of the one and only Dave Kirby. So great to see Will out and running around. Dave's son-in-law. There's
a nice connection there, Dave Kirby. Dave's a great competitor in this series, and of course the vets always races hard, and he is a great guy, and be great to see Dave back in the field with us sometime soon.
Yeah, looking forward to that. Very, very staunch competitors. We now see McDonald and Munro into the pits. James Scott still out in front. He's now starting to get himself in the middle of the traffic. He's lapped his way up to 16th. So just have a bit of a quick look at the pit strategy board so we can see what the top 20's done. So our lead 4 cars are yet to get that first stop out of the way. Hobson's pitted off lap 17. Jones went lap 22. Buchanan still hasn't pitted on lap 23. Albert's pitted on 21. McDonald hasn't pitted yet either. It's interesting. Going a bit longer. Hayden Harrison, lap 19. Baldwin was 12. Johnston was 12. Stone Street went in on lap 1. So did Bilson. Blanchard did 20. So these boys slowly working through a bit of a strategy here. But these lead 4 cars going very long.
Yeah, well, James Scott is pretty renowned in this series to be generally one of the last to pit most weeks, so no surprises he's still out there. Generally has enough of a lead to pick and choose when he wants to pit. He's not really forced into any strategy. A couple of races we've seen him had to cover other people's pit strategies, but generally he's been able to pick and choose when and where he takes his stop. So nothing different this week.
Just going to have a bit of a quick look at the pit times as James Scott does go on pit, and we can see that Zach McDonald was stopped for 14 seconds. Albert was 23 seconds, 16 seconds for Harrison. So it looks like most of them have gone around that 14-second mark. Riley Bilson, Blanchard, they were early ones at 4 seconds. But Nixon is in. What does Gray do? So these boys definitely working their pit strategies now.
I think Thomas Freeman and Anthony Visma were the quickest. Thomas was 3.9 seconds stationary, Visma 4.3. It was probably really just a fast repair and a slap of fuel, and that was it.
Yeah, definitely working hard.
Dylan Gray and Robbie Bradbury, only two drivers not to take a stop yet. Brenton Hobson has jumped in front of James Scott, but Brenton's stationary time in the lane was a good 11 seconds shorter than James Scott, so I'm sure that will even itself out once the second stops are made.
It always does. Of course, what we find is these guys will stop usually early in that first half, get a little bit of fuel on, and then the second half they will go long and get themselves where they need to be. It is definitely the way to go. We have seen some weird strategies where I think a couple of the fishy boys used to go and pit very early, lap 1 or 2. Just to get that lap out of the way. So not many battles. James Scott back out on track. He is chasing Brenton Hobson. So James Scott, we can have a look at those pit times again. So James Scott took on 19.6 litres of fuel. Albert went 23. Hobson only went 8.2. So let's see, this is why Scott's lost that 10 seconds that he had ahead of Hobson. And Dylan Gray still yet to stop. And he's going to jump on Thomas Freeman. He's caught up to John Gallen in front of him. Hunting down the Pelican, nicely tucked up behind it.
Yeah, probably a bit of a frustrating return to the East Coast Series for Thomas. He's had a pretty tough start to the race, but we know he's a great driver and a fierce competitor, and he'll just stick with it and see if he can make his way through the field and get back on that lead lap if you can. We're currently on lap 28 of 67, so there's still 39 laps to go, 39 and a half laps to go. Still plenty of racing to be had here, so still a lot can unfold in this back half of the race. So just looking at Connor Nixon, his stationary time was 24 seconds, so That was a pretty long stop for Connor, so I'm expecting his next stop will be very short, probably just a quick splash of fuel and some fresh tyres, and that'll get him back on his way. But he's still in the top 10, currently sitting in 10th spot after he got all the way up to 4th place, I think, prior to the pit stops.
And iRacing not locking me tonight for some reason. I've got no idea what has changed in my system. Just bear with me again, guys. Just keep talking, Mark.
That's the opposite to what my wife says, but anyway, I'll do what I can. Yeah, James Scott tucked up right behind Brenton Hobson here. I'm sure Hobbo's feeling the pressure a little bit, but Hobbo's a very experienced campaigner and won't relinquish anything easily, but we know that relentless pressure from James has forced drivers into errors at times. So I think James just going to sit there and keep applying that blowtorch, and no doubt if he can't get past Brent, he will jump Brenton in the next round of pit stops, because the difference in stationary time in the lane was about 11 seconds. So fairly significant difference in stops there.
And how's Will Munro going, Mark?
Will Munro is down in 15th spot. He's up 3 spots. Will's had a pretty good race so far tonight. Did get caught up in that start line incident with, I think it was Timmy Mulford coming back onto the track. But on the whole, yeah, Will's done a pretty good job, I think. Another driver who's improving every week in this series.
Yeah, just about back end going again. And of course, we are at Phillip Island next week. So that should be moving hot air away from there. So I'm not sure whether it's the temperature on that that's causing it, or who knows. Right, continuing on. Should be back with live timing, so we should have live pictures in a second. Here we go, we are back. It looks like a few of the boys have all disappeared and come back on that. That's alright. Dylan Gray, still our race leader at the moment, still hasn't had that first stop.
Dylan's gone a long way into this this race. Currently on lap 30, about to start lap 31. So Dylan's the only driver who hasn't pitted. He's got and Robbie Bradbury. Sorry, yeah, no, Robbie's tucked up behind him there in 2nd spot. They do have Brenton Hobson and James Scott slowly catching them, so they will plummet down the order once they take that stop. But I'm probably expecting these two guys to almost back-to-back their pit stops here, because they're getting close to a point where they can put some fresh tyres on with about 25 laps to go, and yeah, I'm expecting probably these two guys to almost back-to-back their pit stops, unless these boys will really be hoping for a safety car, I'm sure, but there is so much runoff here. Not always likely to see one around Winton.
Yeah, not easy. James Scott still tucked up behind Hobson. We did talk about how hard it was to pass at this place. We haven't seen James make that move.
Yeah, absolutely. Even for a driver of James's calibre, it's still very difficult to pass around here. You're really relying on the driver in front to make an error to open up some space for you.
Yeah, definitely not the easiest place in the world, as we talked about.
Hobbo into the pits for his 2nd pit stop, so 36 laps remaining, so Hobbo will no doubt be taking fresh tyres here, so not quite at halfway race distance, but Brent feeling that the time was right for him.
And that frees up the Ryco driver James Scott into 3rd. And we're going down the order a little bit as he rolls through the pits. Dylan Gray though still out in front. He got to take his first stop. but he is running really well. Robbie Bradbury hanging on to him. That interval's only 1.1 seconds. So Robbie doing really well here. I think Robbie would be pretty happy where he's sitting.
Yeah, without a doubt, John. I think, as we remarked earlier, I think Robbie's probably one of the big improvers in the series. He's feel like he's had a pretty stellar season for his first season with us, and most weeks he's executed very well. He's kept his nose clean. He's always given the quicker drivers space, and yeah, it's been a pleasure to have Robbie here. Oh, he just makes a mistake there. It looked like he was going to the pit lane anyway.
Yeah, that's how I deliberately did that going to pits. Jump over Riley Bilson. He has himself tucked up behind Hobson. He's come out after that second stop. Feels like Cam Jones is going to jump Hobbo for P3 at the next stop when Cam comes in. I reckon you might be right, Mark.
Yeah, well,
sorry.
Hobbo was stationary 17 seconds on that stop, and Cam Jones was 14 on his first. So I think Cam's probably 3 or 4, maybe 5 seconds quicker on this second stop than what Hobbo did. So be interesting to see the stationary time for Cam once he takes that second stop.
Yeah, definitely working their way along at the moment. Just going to jump up, check on Brady Baldwin. He still has Connor Nixon behind him. Oh no, bit of contact. So very interesting there. Might just go through the Supercheap Auto replay, have a second look at that one. So we see Baldwin coming through rollover. And a little bit deep by Nixon, just gets the clip, locked up tyres. And that one over, that's also allowed one of the Pacific Esports cars through as well. Not too much going on, maybe a redress might get him out of trouble here. But definitely not what Brady wanted as he flies into the pits. And we jump back up to Cam Jones. He's got Bo Albert tucked up behind him.
Yeah, we haven't spoke about Bo for this middle phase of the race. He done a great job qualifying P2. He's made one stop, pretty lengthy stationary time as well. Stationary for 23 seconds, one of the longest out there. So yeah, he's doing a good job still in P3. I think these two boys are probably gonna be fighting it out for the podium by the looks of it, for second and third. So Bo's done a great job tonight. He's a very experienced campaigner, been around a long time in many different forms of cars on iRacing, and doing a great job in the V8 Mustang tonight.
And definitely almost lost it there, coming out of 10-3 out of the S's, gets control.
Just testing that suspension to make sure it's still working.
Once this is making Jones work for it. Jones looking a little bit slippery there.
Well, these tyres are. I think most of these guys have probably still got their first set of tyres on. 35 laps in. We've got 32 remaining, so I reckon most of these boys will be up from Jones there. But I think most of these boys will be looking to take some fresh rubber at ASAP.
Jones gets a little bit of a look in.
Yeah, he really forced, well, he made Bo work very hard for that. No surprises. It's Cam's a very fierce competitor, got some great speed, always good fun to race against, but yeah, he doesn't take a backward step ever, so really forced Bo to work hard to get that position.
Yeah, definitely some great racing. Jump on the splitter cam.
Yeah, I think Cam just needs to run his own race here. He's got the opportunity for a podium if he can play his cards right and not make any mistakes. He's got, I think he'll be fighting Brenton Hobson. Yeah, Hobbo. So Hobbo's about 25 seconds behind, I think. So it's going to be touch and go for these boys. Hobbo would have put fresh tyres on, which definitely would have gave him an advantage for a few laps. So Cam just got to knuckle down, forget about what's happening in front of him, just try and get some good lap times and just stay out there for as long as possible, force Hobbo to use his tyres up chasing and come in, grab some fresh tyres and see if he can hang on to a podium. James Scott looks like he's taken his second stop as well.
Yep, Scott's in. So all happening around the track at the moment. Starting to get into this phase of the race where we see their second stop start to unravel, and then we know exactly where everybody is for the run home. Hayden Harrison in as well. As Anthony Visma just gets past Will Munro. So Will Munro now trickling up back into 18th. Visma up into 17th. Both of them have done their second stop. Lap 34 for Visma, lap 33 for Munro. These boys definitely working their way through.
Interesting, Brenton Hobson not that far behind James Scott there, so he's only, what is he? He's only about 4 seconds behind James Scott. So Brenton Hobson once again with a great strategy to get not too far from the lead. So it's going to be interesting with Bo Albert and Cam Jones when it comes to Brenton Hobson now, because Bo did have a very long first stop, 23 seconds, so I'm expecting his second stop to be pretty quick.
They're looking forward to seeing this pan out. There's Cam Jones in the pits now as well. Zach McDonald's gone following. With a team thing there. Connor Nixon staying out. So waiting to see how that rolls out. Troy Stone Street. He is not too far behind Will Buchanan. Simtech Performance entry.
Brenton Hobson, fair way down the road there from Cam Jones now. He's about 6 seconds up the road, so didn't quite play out how we expected. Hobbo obviously having a better fuel strategy than what we gave him credit for there, so we know how good he is at saving fuel. So anyway, Cam Jones has got a fair bit of work to do to catch back up to Hobbo now.
Definitely a lot to be done. So Cam Jones, of course, as we said, he is a fair way back from Hobson. Good 7 seconds, so he's got a lot of work to do. See how that pans out for the rest of the race. Sean McNamara will get you that information, mate. We'll roll that out now. Go to the pit times. You can see the last stop of Hobbo was 17 seconds. James Scott was 10. Bo Albert was 23. Of course, Bo still has to make his final stop. But we can see Cam Jones was 12. Hobson 17. So yeah, definitely a bit of work to be done from Cam. Let's see how he goes. Still a long way to go home here. 39 to 67.
Yep, still 28 and a half laps to go. Riley Bilson's fought pretty hard after being slammed into the wall off the start line after Damien Johnson started on the line. So Riley pretty much went to back of the pack. He's currently in P5. He's made one stop. Pretty short stop. It was on the first lap, I believe. So I'm sure his car's going to want some fuel pretty soon.
Yeah, definitely looking for it. And gets past laps his teammate Craig Schultz there. And so still to stop, we have Bo Albert. He is in P1. We have Riley Bilson in P2. Blanchard back in P6, up 14 spots. Robbie Bradbury still needs to pit as well. Hayden Harrison's rolled out his 2. And then the other guys are Mulford and Buchanan still need to stop, and John Gallen. So these boys are still running, all still doing really well. Look forward to seeing how this one plays out over the next 27 laps. Definitely a long way to go still, but most of these stops out of the way. Dylan Gray, like you said, Mark, rolled out his 2 stops fairly quick. What we expected. Bring up the pit strategy board again, so Bo Albert's only made the 1 stop. Scott went long, got the 2 out of the way, so he's probably got about 36 laps out of his first set of tyres, I would say. Hobson probably a bit less, with 31 laps, and Bilson has gone 38 laps on a set of tyres, so he is definitely stretched this one right out of the middle. Blanchard, he needs to get that next stop out of the way, probably sooner than later, I'd imagine at this stage of the race now. But this man here, Dylan Gray, same thing again, 33 out of that first stint, 5. He's now got that second stop out of the way, knuckling down to get this car home. Of course, hotly contested battle between him and Robbie Bradbury in front of him. Of course, Bradbury in the pits now, so we'll see how that rolls out.
Let's keep an eye on Bo Albert there. Was caught up in a little bit of lap traffic there with Troy Stone Street and Timmy Mulford. Got through now, but probably cost him half a second or so, which he wouldn't have been happy about, especially considering he's still got to make that second stop. So hard to tell where this one's going to play out between him and Brenton Hobson. Definitely think James Scott's got him covered, but Hobbo, that's a different story between them two.
Definitely a long way to go.
I think at this stage, I still think probably Hobson's maybe just got enough of a gap to overtake Bo Albert when he takes his second stop. So we know Bo's going to have good tyres, but Brenton did pit before the halfway mark to take his fresh tyres. So it's going to be a long back end of the race for Hobbo with well-worn tyres.
As Bilson and Blanchard are both peeled off now. He's going to jump on his Stone Street in a good little battle with Timmy Mulford. Underestimate Troy in this one. Down 3 spots from where he qualified. Of course, quite a few guys caught up in that start line is where Damien Johnson's installed. It's like my iRacing has tonight twice. So a big thank you to everyone who's hung around and watched with us. Warm evening here. Summer has arrived. As Bub, have a look at Hayden Harrison, another one of the 9.5 entries, and he's got Connor Nixon still tucked up behind him. Connor trying to hang on here. Go the cockpit view. See around his place. Don't get a break. These boys will feel like they have done an enduro, even though it's only 67 laps, 150 Ks.
Riley Bilson just came out of the pits just in front of Bo Albert there, and Bo really tried to get past, but Riley was having none of it. And of course, Riley, being on fresh rubber, has been able to stretch his legs a bit and open up a couple of car lengths on Bo. Yeah, it'll be interesting. 25 laps to go now. I'm thinking Bo's probably going to want to come and pit soon.
Be thinking about it, surely. Just going to jump on, have a look at John O'Gallen. I think he's done a Dave Worrell and he's hit the wall. That's an instant replay of the BMW, our DSO. Loves this track, this Dave Worrell. Jump back to live pictures. So Thomas Freeman still tucked up behind Baldwin in front of him. He's sort of caught up in that out of sequence still. Maybe trying to fight his way back up. Mulford, he's got Stone Street behind him. Cam Jones has got a battle of his own at the moment. He's got a good little gap. He's only 5 seconds behind Hobson, so keep an eye on that one as that one reels down. I think he's going to slowly catch him. Plenty of time to do so. Connor Nixon, as we were saying before. And he continues on. Connor. He's hunting down Hayden Harrison in front of him.
Yeah, just looking at that replay, John, with John O'Gallen, that was an interesting one. It just almost looked like he either had a hardware failure or was looking maybe at his pit strategy, trying to adjust his pit strategy on the run, and just kind of veered straight into the wall. A little bit of an unusual one, that one.
Yeah, also know Jono is just ventured into the world of flipping and all the rest that goes along with using no aids as well, so would have been caught out by something. Anyway, yeah, someone else, Mr. Iceman, saying it looked like a wheel might have disconnected or something like that. Bit of hardware failure. But Jono still rolling around at the moment, so hopefully he'll make it to the end. But only really 2 battles on track at the moment, the Stone Street battle and the Connor Nixon battle. Stone Street definitely keeping the pressure on Mulford here. These boys definitely working their way through. There's up on a better camera. He's tucked right up behind him now. Let's see what Troy can do here.
And the battle been raging for quite a few laps here.
Just noticed didn't quite get a good exit out of turn 12. There's Mulford just to get that a little bit up the road. It's a place where you've really got to be right on their bumper, have the pressure going onto them the whole way round. Gets right up behind him as we go through the tight section of the circuit. Up into truck assist. Keeps this close, he's only looking for the slightest mistake from Mulford. Mulford here, working very hard to not put a foot out of place. Troy thought about it, he had a little bit of a look, showed his nose. Mulford will definitely know he's there. Mulford definitely getting a good drive out of turn 12, just makes it very hard for all that work. He has to go and do it all again.
Yeah, that one could be just coming down to car setup. Timmy obviously getting pretty good drive out of the corners there. Currently we've got 20, just over 20 laps to go. Only driver not to take their second stop so far is Bo Albert. James Scott is 13 seconds behind Bo. Brenton Hobson's 21.5 seconds behind, and Cameron Jones 26.5 seconds. So touch and go for Bo Albert for third and fourth to possibly jump him. So not sure what Bo's strategy is here, unless he took tyres on the first stop and is just looking for a short splash and dash on the second. But transiting pit lane, I'm guessing probably takes at least 20-25 seconds. So by the time you get in the slow lane, through the transit pit lane and back out on full gas, I'm guessing it's 25 seconds at least. So going to be interesting how this one unfolds for Bo.
And of course that gap closing very quickly too from Scott. You know, we'll see. We might go have a look back to some of the outer battles. Cannon now under a lot of pressure from Craig Schultz. We'll have him trying to look up. Oh, he's gone wide. Opens the door up for a resafe entry. Yep, Schultz is through. Now this train here with the battle we're looking at before. Anthony Visma's managed to get himself past Stone Street. So Sean McAgreen, we've got to say, yep, late safety car. Definitely open this up. Particularly considering you'll see some guys mid to backpack also just probably try and get themselves composed again. You know, continuing on. So a few battles starting to rally up in this late section of the race as we're on lap 49 now, 67.
Just looking at James Scott, John, he's got about 1, 2, 3, he's got about 6 or 7 cars in front of him that he's going to try and make his way through. Chris Blanchard's the first one to lift and move aside and let James through fairly cleanly. The next one up the road looks like it'll be possibly Robbie Bradbury.
It's that battle we've been looking at with Stone Street, so yeah, definitely not a good time coming to the back of this group.
No, sorry, it's not Robbie Bradbury, it's John O'Gallant. So, and then in front of Jono we got Stone Street and Mulford. So
and Visma.
And Visma, that's right, yeah.
Oh, a bit of smoke. Looks like that's Gallon going a bit wide there. That's all right, but I think there's smoke in front of Gallon on that one.
Gallon with the lock up there, opens the door straight up for James. Didn't have to work too hard for that position. Pretty intense battle between Visma and Mulford up ahead here, so they're probably not going to be looking in their mirrors or relative too much. They're trying to race each other.
Yeah, James Scott and Stone Street getting a very good look at this. Stone Street, you'd probably think about just easing out of the way here, tucking on the heels of Scott, getting him to drag him back up to this battle.
Yeah, Troy doing a good job there, just lifting and letting James straight through, not affecting the race leader's race.
As we've got Mulford there, very defensive on the inside, going into 3. Down through Coates now. Visma looks like he's going to peel out of the way, is he? Yep, Visma peels out of the way of Scott. These boys all smart enough. Live to play another day.
Really don't want to be affecting the race leader's race at this stage with 17 laps to go. Visma really tries to capitalise on Timmy Mulford letting James Scott through, but Timmy's able to cover, and they battle on once again.
And of course behind Mulford now, Visma. He's working very hard. Visma, Stone Street, Blanchard. I think Gallen's the lapped car tucked up behind these boys. Doing very well, Jono, in his first outing. Sitting in the top 20.
Jimmy Mulford back in the lane for his.
Last stop.
This is his third stop, so I'm not sure if he made a mistake and entered the pit road accidentally and thought I may as well go in.
2 restarts. I've got him for 2 stops, so I'm not sure. Anyway, I'll go 3 in a minute. Let's keep an eye on that. You know, these boys battling really hard. Hayden Harris and Connor Nixon now. That battle's starting to liven up as well. Oh, Albert still hasn't made that final stop. Going long.
Yeah, even with James Scott battling through all them lap cars, he's still been able to cut another 2 or 3 seconds off Bo Albert's lead. So, and same for Brenton Hobson. Brenton Hobson's got that under 20 seconds now. So, you know, it's quite possible Bo did take tyres in his first stop. But,
he's in. Bo Albert is in. It's all going to be revealed. I reckon he's going to come out somewhere in front of Cam Jones. This will be where the battle is. Can Cam get himself on the podium?
Bo Albert's flashing in and out from me. I don't know if he's still. I think Bo Albert's dropped out.
Yep, he's gone. I can't find him on the service. That's a bummer. As we go to scenic shots, pick up a car here. Bo Albert falling down the order. That is very disappointing. I was looking forward to seeing where he would come out. These boys doing very, very well.
Yeah, not sure if that was a packet loss or whether he decided to exit the server on his own, but yeah, very disappointing after.
I'll have word in a second. I can see he's busily typing away in Discord, so we'll know in a second. But yeah, Connor Nixon is doing well. He's a very good driver, considering he is in a wheelchair. The way he races on track, definitely levelling the field and doing very well. Zach McDonald, the youngster, he's tucked up behind Brady Baldwin. He's in this 3-way battle here. There we go. Bo Albert got to his second pit stop and realised he had no tyres. So that's what's happened to Bo there.
So he did take tyres first stop, but
Yep.
didn't realise he had no tyres for the second.
Yep.
Could have just thrown some rims on without tyres and.
Could have just kept going. Would have been interesting to see how the canvas went. A 53 or 67 wasn't too far to go. Just going to pick up Hayden Harrison now. He still has Nixon behind him. A little bit further back, Blanchard, he's tucked up behind Stone Street. Big shout out to Pato in the chat there as well. When Blanchy making a move on Troy here. Can he get it done through turn 12? And nicely moves through. Of course, Brenton Hobson knocking at the door behind these boys, trying to get past. John O'Gallen still going well. He's hung on to the back of this Stone Street Blanchard fight for a while, so that's pretty good pace he's showing now. even though he's a lap down on these guys. So Hobson moves through to second. Nixon sitting in sixth, he's up 17 spots. Of course, didn't set a time in qualifying.
Yeah, stellar drive there from Connor. Just quick shout out to all these boys in the mid to back end of the pack, given plenty of racing room for the race leaders when they're coming through. So just a thumbs up to them boys for making the racing nice and clean for everybody.
They're definitely doing a great job. As we see, James Scott's 10 seconds ahead of Hobson. He's 5 seconds ahead of Jones. Harrison is 23 seconds behind Jones. So top three definitely cleared out a bit here. And of course, Hayden Harrison in the thick of a battle here with Nixon Baldwin and Zach McDonald.
Yeah, Zach had a great qualifying. Race pace is probably not what he wanted. I'm not sure if his race pace or pit strategy has let himself down a little bit, but Zach another big improver in this series and a big improver overall on iRacing. I think give a few more seasons to Zach and he's going to be right up there with the best of them.
Definitely see he's got the ability. So no safety cars, just a big lap one shunt on the start line.
Yeah, to be honest, John, I was surprised we didn't get one off that start line. It was a pretty big accident, but everybody managed to limp back around and get their cars repaired. Before we needed a safety car, there was plenty of smoke and car parts all over the track, but yeah, everybody managed to get around safely in the end, and yeah, we've got 11 and a half laps to go, and I'm going to say we're probably not going to get a safety car unless somebody blows an engine.
And of course, just over 11 laps to go now. Got back on with Hayden Harrison. He's got Connor Nixon behind. Of course, the middle lap traffic with Will Buchanan as well. So Will nicely gets out of the way, closes the door, Connor goes around the outside. Nicely done. Tries to latch onto the back of the 9.5 SimSport Century in front of him. So good driving here.
Thomas Freeman forcing his way through there on Will Buchanan as well. Thomas had a very tough night off the start line there. Went down a lap down pretty early and he managed to fight his way back up to 16th. Not a bad effort considering how difficult it is to pass around here and how far he fell behind early on in the race. Riley Bilson as well, he had a very tough start to the race, again from that start line incident, heavily damaged car. He managed to fight his way back inside the top 10, which is a great effort from Riley.
Yeah, definitely doing very well. Sit on Riley. He's tucked up behind Dylan Gray. And there's a couple of questions. Yeah, Steve, I think Blake will be back with us. Just a little bit burnt out after the Pro Series campaign. He's basically driving 4 nights a week or 5 nights a week. So just burned himself out a little bit. So he's having a bit of fun at the moment, playing around in GT3 cars and doing a few other things. And then doing the Apex series on Monday nights, which is a little bit more laid back.
Yeah, I think when you, sorry John, I was just about to say, when you consider how much racing these boys probably do over a 12-month period coming to the end of the year, I'm sure most people are feeling like they're ready for a rest over the next few weeks. So hopefully Blake gets rejuvenated quickly and we see him back on track with us soon.
And of course, you do a lot of work for those series and you get taken out very early on lap 1 or lap 2, whatever it is. Yeah, it's a pretty emotional ride as well for a few of these lads. So, on some good news, I can also announce that Greg Sharp has joined WK&P and he'll be doing some East Coast races as well shortly.
It's good to hear. Greg, great guy, great competitor. He always races very fiercely. Never say die attitude, and yeah, he's a good guy and great acquisition for the team there, John.
Yeah, one of the original drivers of ERT, which was a surprise when I was talking to Greg. Yeah, done a lot of racing over the journey as well, so a bit of experience, and then yeah, just Scotty Gamble's the other one who'll come and do some East Coast races when he's got time, so yeah. Still trying to get a few of these lads back, and I believe Ash is not doing race control for vets this season coming, so he's got more time to concentrate on his racing. So hopefully we'll see Ash do a few more East Coast races as well. So trying to get a few more of these WK&P lads out and about on track. Got Blanchie out here tonight, which is a good start, and young Blake had to go to work.
We're starting to count this one down, John. We're only got about 8.5 laps to go now for James Scott. He's currently got a 12.5 second lead over Brenton Hobson. Hobbo's got about 1.5 seconds, a little bit over Cameron Jones. So that lead has tumbled quite significantly over the last 10 laps. Hobbo had a far bigger gap than that before, so sorry, it's down to about 5 seconds now, so that's pretty stable, that one. So Hobbo has done a pretty good job with his strategy tonight. He was probably the first to take fresh tyres on the second stop, which was, from memory, around lap 34, 35, so it was before the halfway point of the race, I think, or was it 32 or 31, I can't remember, but he was the first of the lead cars to take his second stop, and I thought he was going to be in a little bit of trouble come the end of the race, but Hobbo once again has shown his experience and managed his race very nicely.
They've done very well. It's a couple little battles on track still got Craig Schultz, who is still fighting away with Will Munro. So Will doing very well for the Infinity Sim Racing.
Yeah, Will's up 4 spots. Yeah, Will's up 4 spots. So, like when you just chip away, you just got to hopefully you don't make too many errors and you keep it on the black stuff, and good things happen. So, yeah, good to see Will's persistence. He's up 4 spots from his starting spot into 14th. So, yeah, good one for Will. Chris Blanchard, another one. He's up 8 spots. Robbie Bradbury, as he does every week, executing very nicely. He's up 5. Dylan Gray's up 4. But the big mover tonight is Connor Nixon. He's up 17 spots. Phenomenal effort.
Yeah, Connor's done sensationally well. As we just see Thomas Freeman shuffle back. I think he's had a off track. This might go Supercheap auto replay. So what's happened to Thomas? I think letting traffic through maybe, just cutting the corner. Sound like he's got much gas though.
He's out of fuel, is he?
I think so. Has stopped. We get a late safety car. He's well off the line. Find out in a minute, I guess. Safety car is not on track, so it's safe to say not happening.
Yeah, good call there from race control. I don't think we needed a safety car this late in. I'm sure a few of the drivers would have enjoyed it, but I think it was far enough offline to not warrant a safety car coming out on the track with just over 5 laps to go.
Yep. James Scott, it's about to start lap 63. Came in late to the server. A little bit worried he might not get a good quali lap in. Managed to put it on P1. And has pretty well much led go to 0, except for Bo Albert going long on that second stop, on that first stop, sorry. And has lapped everybody except for the top 3, so yes, had a dominating night, young James. Hobson's 14 seconds down the road. He's 3.7 seconds. Don't think it's going to be enough time to catch, but Cam Jones is catching him ever so slightly here. Hobson has fuel trouble maybe.
Yeah, Thomas Freeman did blow his engine there, so that's why he came to a standstill. Probably a misshift, or maybe it was earlier car damage, but yeah, that was a blown motor. Yeah, Cam Jones got the bit between the teeth. I still think Hobbo's got plenty of gap there to hold on with only 5 laps to go.
It doesn't sound like he's overly trying to save. Plenty of wheel spin as well, so his tyres could be getting old. Keep an eye on that one. Down to 3.5 seconds now. Craig Schultz. He's got his bit between the teeth now, trying to get himself onto Will Munro. Will going defensive into turn 11. Stone Street's had an off somewhere in the middle there too. Might just have a quick look at that on the Supercheap auto replay. He's caught that one. It looks like that was at Coates. Hold on. He's done well to get himself sorted. That was actually turn 3. It's a good little battle here at the end. Will has been very impressive tonight. See Schultz working both sides. Stay with this battle for another minute or two.
Yeah, these boys are working really hard for a position that is outside the top 10, but it just goes to show you, like, the racing is just as fierce at the front, or just as fierce at the back as it is at the front. Everybody wants to overtake. Everybody wants to gain a position no matter what place it's for. So these boys, we've got 2.5 laps to go, and they're racing like it's the first couple of laps.
Definitely very intense driving with that group. That gap up the front, Hobson Jones, is now 3 seconds. That's closed a little bit. I think with 2.5 laps to go, I don't think that'll be enough. So keep a little bit of an eye on that one. Visma, he's in a little bit of a battle as well. He's got Blanchard starting to catch him. That gap's closing. And Dylan Gray has Bradbury behind him. So some very good little fights going on towards the end here. It's been a long race for these boys.
Well, with a lock up that still manages to hang on. Just goes to show, like, even with a bit of a mistake, you can still fight for position here. So, yeah, definitely probably one of the hardest tracks to pass on in iRacing.
Here we go, side by side. Has he got it up the inside enough? Maybe, maybe not. Of course, it's a left to right corner. Both drivers giving themselves plenty of room. Still side by side. And that is a mistake. Schultz is off into the weeds. Gets it back onto the black stuff just. That allows Munro to get through. And of course Connor Nixon into the lapping car as well. So that could be into that one. Jump onto Dylan Gray battle. It's the white flag though for James Scott at the moment. He'll sit up with Dylan. Schultz, Munro, Winston's been noted as well. So there must have been a little bit of contact there.
Yeah, it was a little bit of contact. Craig probably thought he might have got a little bit more racing room there, I'm sure, but I think it was just a case of both drivers going as deep as they possibly could, fighting for the same bit of real estate. Definitely nothing untoward there. It was just both drivers fighting as hard as they possibly could for the same patch of road.
Definitely a difficult battle, as we can see James Scott here tucked up behind Robbie Bradbury. He only has another 3 corners to go. Been another dominating performance. This guy is one of Australia's best sim racers in the V8's. He's rocking up every week and proving it. New team hasn't taken a hard step back as he now comes across the line, and that is a win to James Scott. Hobbo, that gap's down to 2.7, but he's going to hang on as he gets around the corner. And Hobbo will bring it home in second. Cam Jones, been a while since we had him in the box, but he will finish third. Teammate Hayden Harrison, he is up 2 spots, and he's going to bring it home for 9.5 Sim Sports. He's going to bring it home in 4th. I think he'll be pretty happy with that after not racing at East Coast for a few weeks. Nixon not too far behind in 5th, up 17 spots. Robbie Bradbury in 6th, 7th will be Zach McDonald. 8th we see Riley Bilson. A good drive from Riley. So he's caught up in a fair bit of action at the start. And Dylan Gray, Robbie Bradbury, these 2 boys been in a good fight and a good tussle. And it looks like Gray will get the chocolates over Bradbury. That's a very big battle for our Super 2 boys. Anthony Visma out of juice. Pavel hasn't filled the car up. Oh no, this will be heartbreaking. no visitors cross the line, sorry. My mistake. 11th, 12th will be Blanchard. Munro will be 13th. Schultz home in 14th. Stone Street in 15th. Will Buchanan 16th. And John O'Gallant brings it home in 17th. So that has been another tough night in the office for these boys, Mark.
Yeah, absolutely. I think we mentioned quite a few times during the broadcast. It was a tough start for many drivers off the line there when Damien Johnson stalled. Plenty of drivers in all sorts of trouble with car repairs on the opening lap. But yeah, some great drives there. Connor Nixon up 17th spot, outstanding drive. James Scott, of course, what can we say? Comes in here every week and does
what can we say, James?
decimates the field once again, late into the service, snatches pole on his last qualifying lap and brings it home for the win. But yeah, some good racing there, some good opening battle between Bo Albert and James, but James just edged ahead and then really just closed the race out fairly early. So congrats to James.
Yeah, well done, James.
Thank you.
How'd you find that one?
Very long. Yeah, that was a very, very, very long race. Yeah, anyway. Yeah, bit of a grit and go tonight. Haven't driven at this track probably since last time we raced here, whenever that was. So, just got home from work. I thought I was going to be starting from rear of grid tonight, but first laps, yeah, just was a wobbler for the first run, and the second run wasn't really much better. Just probably had new tyres on it, so enough to, get it up the front. And first stint wobbling around, trying to remember how to drive around here. And yeah, second stint, sort of just cruised around.
Yeah, no, I think it's a cracking drive, mate. You should be pretty chuffed with that one. And not sure where Hobbo and Cam are, so we'll ask you the question. We have to go to Phillip Island next week. What are your thoughts of that place?
Yeah, a bit better than here. How long was the race?
Not sure what we've got programmed for that. Whether Ash does something different. I think Ash has been mixing it up a little bit, so
yeah, probably
does.
Yeah, something probably not 70 laps would be good. I think a bit long every night, but yeah, better than here. Bit suits his car a bit more, so
yep.
Yeah, no, won't be too bad.
Been a long season, I guess, James, for most drivers. We know it takes a lot of laps to maintain the pace week in, week out, and coming towards the end of the year, I'm sure everybody's looking forward to a bit of a break for a few weeks.
Yep, 100%. It's been a long year, but I can't say I did too much practice tonight. I was full grit and go, but came for a break, but Phillip Island, I think, one more week after that, is it? Barber, maybe?
Yeah, Barber after that. That's the end of it.
God, I haven't driven there in years, so doesn't get used much in this car, so I have to, I don't know, see where the corners go again.
I have to get the old brand new Ryko set for it.
Yeah, it's I'm sure we'll get something dialed in. The boys over at Rich's Dock Shop will be able to help out with that, so keep an eye out on Ryko.
Not too easy. And of course the man in P2, Mr. Hobson.
Hello, John. How are you?
Good, mate. Very interesting fuel strategy or stop strategy tonight. A bit different.
You got to keep people guessing, yeah. Even yourself sometimes.
Yeah, kept us guessing. How'd you find that one, mate?
Long,
yeah.
My arms hurt, and I'm sweaty.
It's a tough little track that I think a lot of people underestimate. The old Winton, like you just don't get a break at all.
Yeah, it is the short straights and lots of windy stuff in the backside of the track. And I have my my direct drive wheel fairly heavy, and I'm in a bit of trouble at the minute just because I haven't been racing. So I think I did the race last week at Bathurst and sucked there, and before that I haven't driven since Pro Series finished. So I'm out of touch and only a couple of weeks out of it, and sort of lose all your I guess you'd call race fitness for sim races, but those corners in the back, I was like 2 hands hanging on trying to get through the corners around the back side of the track, and with a shifter, trying to change gears mid corner in a couple of spots and stuff, I could barely hang on. So
yeah, I know how you feel.
It's almost like a power steer failure there, Hobbo, you reckon?
Chicken arms, I think they're called. But yeah.
I was listening to you young guys win Just Vets Blakes, I think it was season 15 or season 14. We did a bloody 300k race here.
I don't envy that at all. At all. Yeah, no, look, I mean, other than that, I think I probably stole the podium tonight because I definitely wasn't very fast, but not sure what happened to Bo. That was going to be interesting, so it's a shame that he just disappeared.
Didn't understand the tyre strategy in
I
the race
sort of suspected that might have been the case when he disappeared, so he might have been in a bit of trouble.
Yeah.
But either way, it's a shame it didn't sort of pan out to be a good race there at the end for the podium. Cam was sort of hunting me down on a little bit better tyres and probably a little bit better driver, so nearly got interesting at the end, but just managed to hold him off.
Cam, welcome to the podium, mate.
Yeah, thank you.
How'd you find it?
Oh yeah, my heels hurt. I'm sweating bullets. It's hot.
It's all right.
Haven't been.
It's all right.
Haven't been on the podium for a while. So.
Yeah, it's good. You're definitely starting to find some consistent pace with 9.5 now, which has been good to see.
Yeah, I really have to thank Macca for that. He spent a few hours on the setup this week, I think, practicing for pro. So, yeah.
Too easy. Anyone you want to give a shout out to, Cam?
Yeah, hang on. 2 seconds. First of all, 9.5 boys for, everything they do. Racecraft, Turn-In Race Apparel, RSW Graphics, Racing Ears, and Prestige Cinematography. And you boys, of course.
Cheers, Cam.
Cheers, Cam. And Hobbo, you want to give a shout out, mate?
Sure. To the guys in the team, I think we had Brady here tonight, and that might have been about it. But the other guys were coming and hanging out.
Briggsy was in the chat. He was
hanging around. He wasn't on the track. He was hanging around. He was just hanging around me and telling me how to be better as well. Sponsors, Dr. Epoxy, Works Racing Components, Western Motor Group, Parramatta Isuzu Ute, Wave Runner Performance Centre, and all the others that will help make the wheels turn round. The league for putting on something for us to do here on a Tuesday night, and of course you two for putting in and dedicating the time and effort every week to put on a show for everyone at home. Thanks for that.
Too easy.
Yeah, sorry, I was just about. You did have Damien Johnson, but I think he actually went on holidays just as the lights went green.
Actually, you're right. Yeah, I forgot about Damo. He didn't get the great start, did he?
No.
I think he had a gear selection issue. I don't think it was he forgot to turn the car on. He couldn't get into first gear, so is what I heard in my ears. So that's a real shame. He's got a few new bits actually at the minute, and he's been sort of getting everything set up and starting to find a bit more pace, which has been good. But unfortunately, it didn't work out for him tonight. So keep an eye on him because I think he'll get a little better as time goes by as well. So a bit unlucky tonight, but nonetheless, he'll be back.
And of course, James, you can't leech off Hobbo anymore, mate. So anyone you want to give a shout out to?
Yeah, obviously all the guys at Ryco. Head over there if anyone's looking for a setup. And yeah, no, you guys for the broadcast series admin. And yeah, came for next week. Should have some new equipment to bolt on the rig hopefully tomorrow. So hopefully gain some more speed. So we'll see what happens.
Speed.
That doesn't sound fair.
That's a worry.
That's a big worry. Well, on that note, boys, thank you for coming and having a chat. A huge thank you to everyone who was watching. I think we had some pretty big numbers tonight, which was good and a little bit disappointing with my computer iRacing deciding to stop twice. Not sure what was going on there. And of course, you, Mark, coming in again. You're a bit like me, hot and bothered, but we got the job done. And Race Control, they are still busy hard at it, looking down there at the moment. And of course, a big thank you to the league admins. And don't forget, next season entries won't be too far away. And we've got the 2 golden tickets for the Pro Series next week, Phillip Island. We'll see everybody then. Thanks for watching.
There's no arguing that people love their cars.
We weren't arguing.
They talk about their cars, sing about their cars. Some people even look like their car. Whether it's an old car, new old car, fast car, family car, electric car, race car, two-wheel car, no-wheel car, or a car you know's parked around here somewhere. People who love their cars love to tinker with them. Some people tinker big, some people tinker small, some people tinker some degree between those two variables.
Whose voice is that?
And that's where Supercheap Auto comes in. We've been helping people tinker for 50 years. For people like Bill, Lucy, Kevin, other Kevin.
Oi, get off my car!
Didn't catch this guy's name.
It's Kevin.
Not Patrick. He doesn't shop with us. Whoever you are, whatever you drive, we'll help you make it super. Because super is our middle name. Well,